it going? So I've been wanting to remake my do-it-yourself fish food video for quite some time with all the ingredients that I normally use. So here it is. What am I doing for Christmas? I'm making fish food for you guys. So fish food, it really depends whether you have carnivorous, omnivorous, or vegetarian fish. But overall, it's just the quantity of ingredients that will change. So if you have more of a vegetarian fish, you'll add more of the seaweed, the fruits, the vegetables, and if you have more carnivorous, you'll put less of a portion of that and more of the meaty stuff. So let's start with what we can put as the meaty stuff into your fish food. Now here I have a lot of really good ingredients. I have some dried anchovies, if you can see this well. Dried anchovies are pretty good. Often they have some salt added to it. I'm just going to zoom properly on it. So since they do have salt in it, if you don't have reef fish or something like that, I suggest just having them soak in warm water for about an hour and then rinse it, and that should get rid of any salt in it. So for this recipe, I'm going to use a whole package of the dried anchovies. You can use any other small fish if you like, as long as it's a complete fish with the organs, the eyes, everything. Because your fish don't just need the actual flesh of the fish to eat, they need all their organs, everything that has the vitamins in it. So full-size fish. Then we have some clam meat. Frozen, no additives. So this is a pretty good choice. Fish, they're a little picky, they will really enjoy your clams. So we have clams. Also, it's still frozen, so I have to thaw it out and also rinse it. Actually, all of these ingredients have to be rinsed and soaked, okay? So keep that in mind. So this is mini shrimps. I hope I can come close enough to show you. It's really delicious. They do come with the shell, so if you see your fish spit out the shell or spit out the food, don't worry, they're just spitting out the shell. But I prefer feeding with the whole shell and just grinding it up because the shell also has its good nutrients. So they do enjoy shrimps. For smaller fish, if you don't have big fish that can eat with a shell, I like these tiny shrimps. Here on the package you actually have a better view of it. So it's tiny quality shrimps that are also dried. Also soak them to remove any salt if they come with salt, but it's a very good option. All these ingredients actually I found at the Asian market, so very easy, about $1 something for this, $5 for this, $4 for that. So let's move on to something else fish really like to eat, and that is calamari, squid rings. And once it's grinded up in the blender, it's really soft and easy for them to eat, and they really like the fattiness of it. So if you want your fish to actually get a little fatter or bigger, like discus or something like that, to grow faster, they really enjoy the clams, and I had really good results with them eating this. Now, as I was talking about full-sized fish with the eyes, the organs, we have another option of frozen larger anchovies for larger fish, if you have larger fish. But if you blend it up, it will be pretty much small pieces also. So it's really up to you how much you want to blend it up. So this is also anchovies. Also, that I'm adding just because I have the bottom of a package of spirulina and brine shrimp. Don't forget to really rinse well, because those commercial fish foods often have nitrates while they're frozen in nitrates. So rinse it really well. It's a good food, it's a great food. Just rinse it really well before you feed your fish, and that should be good. So we will pass this package in the fish food we have today. All right, so for the supplements, I like to put good raw cloves of garlic, about this much for all that food I just showed you, just to not overdose them on folic acid. So it's a very good immune booster. It also stimulates them to eat well. I really suggest adding garlic, but not too much, and probably not in every single batch of fish food you make. To your very great surprise, we also have cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper boosts the immune system and also increases the red pigment in your red fish. So if you have yellow discus, I suggest you don't feed them cayenne pepper unless you want orange discus. But in any fish, it will just bring up the red coloration, and it's very good for them also. So it doesn't matter, even if your discus turn orange. Also for the seaweed, we have nori seaweed with nothing added to it, pure natural. I hope you can see properly. So you have this one, or you can get the commercial one at the pet store, but it's pretty much the same thing they do. So I use a couple of sheets of this, depending again what kind of fish I'm feeding. I'm using turmeric powder. It's much better. Well, I haven't found real turmeric yet, so I use the powder version. It's a dewormer, an immune booster, an anti-inflammatory, so I always add about a teaspoon of it in my batches of food. This is really up to you. Don't put too much, but put just enough so they have their little boost. Also, I like to add some kelp. Kelp is very good for them. Kelp is one of those seaweed, I hope you can see properly. Kelp is one of those seaweed you have to soak for an hour or two just to get it softer, because it's a very hard algae to just blend, and once it's frozen it no longer softens up. So make sure to soak it a long time and only then use it in the blender. Anyways, you'll feel it to the touch. Once it's really soft and mushy, that's when you blend it up. Also, we have spirulina. Obviously, spirulina, everyone loves to use that in their fish food. About 1 to 2 teaspoons, depending on how large your batch is. I will put probably a teaspoon in the big batch I'm making. For seaweed, we have wakame. This also you have to soak it, not as long as the kelp. You'll be very surprised at how much just a pinch of this makes in a bowl. It expands pretty big, so just keep it an hour in water and you'll see. Also, for your freshwater fish, you can put just regular peas. This is all greens. I prefer just feeding greens and not so much citruses and fruits and like that. I prefer just giving them sporadically, just so you don't have acidity in your fish food in case you're worried about your pH and things like that. Just put your fruits yourself later on for your own feedings. So let's get started. Let's soak this up and then we'll move to the next stage. All right, guys. So one thing that's ultimately important at every stage of your fish food making is use amazing good quality water to either soak or mix in the blender, just so you don't have any impurities, any toxic elements or heavy metals or God knows what comes out of your tap. So I just want to show you real quick how I clean up my water. Ultimately, you should just use reverse osmosis, but I have a system that gives me water instantly and quickly. So let's see. So I have my tap connected to a sediment filter. This is a 10-inch sediment filter. I got it off Amazon. I do believe it's by, the tag is behind, but it's something geek. I'll put it in the description. So I have this sediment filter that then goes into a carbon filter. This is not the same brand because I didn't buy them at the same time, but I would have preferred buying this one because it's transparent and you can see when it's time to change it. And so after the carbon filtration, I have it going through a UV sterilizer in here. So then it goes into here so we can have water to soak it up. So let's see how it works. I make the flow quite slow just to make sure the UV sterilizer really catches all the nasties in the water. Then it goes down here and into your fish food. This is only the soaking process, so I'm gonna fill it up to the top. This one and this one. This is the everything that was dried or with salt added, and this is everything that was frozen. So let's just fill these things up to the border. I kind of enjoy watching water going through all this filtration. This is actually a high flow water purification system. I devised it a bit myself, a bit from the internet. But yeah, I was gonna make a video just about it, but it's in this video, so you already know what I do, what's so special. So I fill it up nice, completely, because we have things in here that will expand in size. And then we finish here, and then we'll fill it up here. This is just to unfreeze this part. This is all the clams, the small shrimps, the calamaris. There you go. Basically, you get the idea, and you soak it up for an hour and a half, everything. You unfreeze, you soak it up, you make sure everything is rehydrated and unfrozen. And then we'll go to the next stage. Alrighty guys, so now everything is unfrozen, thawed, rinsed, and we are ready to proceed. So what I like to do is I like to put 1 teaspoon of every single herb that we have here. Let's start with the spirulina. It's kind of hard to do it with my spoon, so I'll just pour it in a little bit and estimate it being about 1 teaspoon. There we go. So I always put the herbs first. Then we have the cayenne. I think this one I will do with a spoon just in case I put too much. Like this, not too much. And then we have the turmeric. Let's do this like that. This one I like to put a little bit more. I hope my zoom is okay. Hoopla. There we go. And last but not least, we're gonna add the garlic. There you go. And from this point on, we're just gonna add the seafood from there to there. Obviously, we're not all gonna do it in one shot because that won't fit in. And then let's blend it. So before I start the blender, I added a little bit of water just to make it easier to blend. So let's start Ninja. Let's line this up, put this here. I'm using a Ninja blender from Costco, so I hope I put it in proper. There you go. Let's start with crush. So I don't blend it too much depending on the fish you have, so there'll be good bite sizes in there. So don't go overboard if you have big fish, just go on the crush for a little while and then stop it. And you see there's still some good chunks in there. So that's the first batch of ingredients we have done, and let's pour it into the bowl. So I need to pause and now I'm gonna blend the seaweed. So this is probably gonna take a little longer because it's tougher. So let's get it started again on the crush. Let's look at the consistency. Not bad. Pretty big chunks, but they can tear it apart, especially my fish. So yeah, that's good enough. All right, guys. So look how much fish food we have made. That's a big batch. That will last me and my clients months. So the only thing we have to do now is just to stir it up nicely to make sure we mix up everything. And I will just explain to you the next step that I'm gonna do. There's a reason I have this big spoon here. It's about a cup. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this big spoon to fill up, to fill up some Ziploc bags. So every bag is gonna contain 250 grams of fish food, and we're gonna make them flat, and then we're gonna put them in the freezing zone. One thing that's really important is to remove all the air out of the bag before you close it up. So this bag already got that done, so no more air, so it doesn't dry freeze. Alright guys, so the pack is frozen now, and let's see what the fish think of it. So I have some fish food here that I already made for them. Let's put it in and see their opinion. Well, I'd say they're going for it. Mind you, my fish are used to my homemade food. But when it's wholesome food, any fish goes for it. Oh my god, the fights. Maybe I should put another piece or something. Oh. Yep, these big guys like it. So let me put another piece here. So they kind of don't all fight for the same piece. There goes the Oaro. Good job, Sweet Pea. You're doing great. Alright guys, so the point is made. The fish like the food. It's healthy for them. It's good for them. So if you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for all the good videos I bring to you on many subjects related to fish and dogs sometimes. And hit the bell button to get my latest notifications. Alright guys, have a good Christmas. I'll see you soon. Bye.